Okay, welcome. My name is Leah Scott. I am the Abraham Lincoln High School PTA president. Next slide. Of course, I'm hitting enter. My apologies. We're going to go quickly to the ground rules. We will make every effort possible to try to make this meeting under 2 hours. Usually I try to do 90 minutes with 30 minutes of Q&A, meaning questions and answers towards the end. I ask that if you have any questions, that you please put it in the chat. This way people who are the presenters who are talking will be able to get through the presentation and possibly be able to answer your questions through their presentation. Please put your chat in. I do have people reviewing the chat, so if they feel that it is pertinent for right at that moment to ask the questions, they will. Other than that, we will try to push it to the end of the meeting. Sometimes we will have the questions be answered throughout the presentation, but if after a certain amount of time, I will ask to stop the questions and answers and put it again towards the end of the meeting. As a reminder, everyone needs to be respectful of one another. We're getting close to the grades going in, so I know tempers are kind of high right now of whether or not kids are passing or failing. So just remember the teachers are just as stressed out as the parents as well as our students. If anyone is disrespectful or does not follow the rules, you will be removed from this meeting and will not be allowed back in. That's what I forgot. In a few moments, you'll see a Google sign-in document that will be posted up. I will need you to please sign in. Give me one moment. Next. We're going to start with the introductions. Again, my name is Leah Scott. I am the PTA president for Abraham Lincoln. My son is in the 11th grade as well as on the soccer team at Abraham Lincoln. We'll introduce the next person, Ms. Brown.
Good evening. My name is Crystal Brown. I am the vice president of the PTA at Abraham Lincoln High School. My son is in the 12th grade. He's a senior and he's on the football team. Welcome. And we will pass it down to, the co-treasurer, Mr. Sandor.
Hi, I'm Chris Sandor, co-treasurer. My son Nick is a 10th grader at Lincoln High School.
Maggie Sandor, I'm the recording secretary.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leticia Medina. My son is in the 10th grade and I'm the corresponding secretary.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Nicolas. My son is at 10th grade. He just started basketball team. So I'm at work, so I'm sorry I'm not gonna talk too long, but I will be there with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move it on to the introduction of the staff. Welcome.
Mr. Jones and myself haven't introduced ourselves yet.
Mr. Jones will not be able to speak unless he changes his mind. He's in an area that he's not able to talk, but Ms. Attwood, please go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Marie-Helene Attwood. My daughter is in 11th grade, and I am a co-treasurer with Mr. Sandor.
Hi, everyone. I'm part of staff. My name is Mr. Capizzo. I'm a 9th grade algebra teacher at Lincoln, and I'm always with you guys for all these meetings.
Anyone else from staff that would like to speak? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Robinson, you're on mute.
Hi, I'm Mr. Robinson. I'm the assistant principal of guidance.
Okay, I believe that's it. Next. Oh, back up one. Just so that you know, for now, our Title I team is Miss Alston as well as Miss Brown, sorry. And they will speak in a few moments in reference to Title I, as we will be having a Title I voting to unfortunately replace their positions, unless I can try to make them stay on longer, but I doubt it. All right, next.
Sorry, just
Yes.
one quick interruption. If Miss Kelly
Mhm.
would like to introduce herself?
Oh, is she on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Miss Kelly. I am one of the college advisors. I believe I will be speaking with you shortly. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, reading of the minutes.
Okay, so I'm just going to briefly go through a summary of the minutes from the September meeting, during which we had 2 sessions and lots and lots of questions. So I'll just be brief. We had Principal Hugenboom address us and answer lots of questions about the COVID procedures, mask compliance, and the food and lunch procedures that were in place at the school, and had a discussion about the teacher and the staff vaccine mandate that was upcoming, and talked about the social emotional learning initiatives that the school was putting in place, and discussed the Lincoln Somebody program. Ms. Fontana was on and went through a bunch of training aspects for the students and parents that are available on the website, both in the student tech help desk as well as the parents. We talked about the My Student accounts, and Mr. Robinson went over how to set them up, and that it's a one-stop shop, and that we need an access code from Mr. Robinson's office, and to email him if you need that access code to set up your My Student account. We also discussed devices that were coming, and student tech workshops that are available every month. And then we went through the various committees report, the treasurer's report, the secretary's report about welcome letters that we sent out to the new parents and guardians that were joining us, and also welcome letters to the teachers. We discussed some committees that we wanted to get started, a fundraising committee as well, a finance committee, possibly some fundraising with our alumni community. We welcome any parents who are interested to please reach out to the PTA mailbox to be involved in these committees. We also discussed the Title I election that we're going to be having this month, and the Family Healing Ambassador program, which is upcoming next week. Mr. AP Sean O'Connor was also present, giving a briefing on safety, PE, and health protocols at the school. The vaccination portal, he discussed the reporting from the school. We did take a vote to standardize the name of our association, which we made use of, and changed our documents to reflect that. There was a discussion of expanding our fundraising efforts, and that COVID last year really, put a damper on that, but would like to re-energize. And if you have any suggestions or want to help, please email the PTA mailbox. And then we reviewed the school calendar, and that was pretty much it. There was a lot of links and contact information given. The minutes in full are posted at the school website. If you want to review, they're usually posted shortly after the meeting. So you can check out the full text of the minutes if you'd like. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions about the minutes? All right, can I get somebody to motion that we are accepting the minutes for September?
I motion to approve the minutes. Leticia Medina.
I second. Deidre Meadows.
Thank you very much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, the minutes have been accepted. Thank you. I keep hitting next and I forget I'm not the one who's doing the slides. Next. Next. And again, as Ms. Attwood had stated, go ahead, Ms. Sandor, go ahead.
I just realized I forgot to mention that there's also translation available on the website. Once they're posted, you can use the school's translate feature to, translate them to any language. Sorry, that's it.
Good. Is Mr. Hugenboom on?
Mr. Hugenboom's not in attendance today. He's actually attending a Khan Scholar event. He's one of the Khan Scholarship is for award given to principals across the city, and he was accepted into the Khan Scholarship a few years ago, and they have events. So unfortunately, he's there tonight, so he's not with us. But on the positive side, it is just further proof that he's a great principal.
That he is. All right. With that being said, then we will go to the next slide. Thank you very much. And most people may not know Miss Meredith Kelly. She is the one and pretty much only person that seems to be running the college area with her team as well. Many of the parents and students have received emails from her and her team. I know she's more than just one person, but if you can introduce yourself, what your program does, and who your team members are, that would be great. Go ahead.
Sure. Yep. So I'm Meredith Kelly. I've been the college advisor at Lincoln for quite a few years. We do have also Miss Pope, Corinne Pope. She's also an English teacher, but she works part-time in the office. Our secretary is Danielle Cressida. So you can see any one of the three of us in the office anytime during the day. But we're very excited to expand on the college office. We've welcomed 3 new college and career coordinators to work with the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And so, although they won't be necessarily in our office, they're going to be doing a lot of work with our students. Vaughn Gabidon will be working with the freshmen. Jennifer Astarby will be working with the sophomores, and Latoya Washington will be working with the 11th and 12th graders, but we're already working with the 12th graders. So we're just really excited to have them on board. What they will be doing is kind of expanding on what we've done in the past, which really stems from the English classes. We've gone in freshman, sophomore, junior year, had the students log on to Naviance and do career exploration with them, strength explorers, so they can do some goal setting. So each year there was a certain goal, but where we saw some weaknesses, we're now trying to work towards kind of alleviating those. So now each grade level has a coordinator who will not only be continuing to work with the English teachers on the Naviance pieces, we're actually going to expand on the Naviance pieces that they will be doing in the English classes, but they will also be working with a network of teachers to actually follow up with the students so they can actually have conversations about some of the things that they've done on Naviance, right? So if they've done a Strengths Explorer, okay, so what does that mean? What are your strengths? How are you going to set a goal based on those strengths? And also just to make sure that the students are doing some additional thinking beyond that particular class, minute. Another component is discipline-based college lessons that correspond to the DOE initiatives. So every month, the DOE has a focus, whether it be college or career. And so the lessons that each of the disciplines will, have performed during the class will kind of relate to those. So the first one will actually start next week, and that is through the science classes. So all the science teachers will be doing like a mini lesson and a full-length lesson that kind of revolves around applications, because October is college application month. But they're going to relate college applications to specific colleges that would focus on STEM careers, right? So science, so it relates to the discipline somehow. And so that's just one way that we're kind of, expanding on the college and career, dialogue with students. Our seniors That's more of the work that I do with the students. We start off with the seniors in the fall. They've already done Log On with Common App. We did that in September. They linked, or they should have linked their Common App to Naviance. We really just wrapped up the CUNY application, start to that. That was this week. All the senior English classes went to the computer lab and either begun a CUNY application or continued working on a CUNY application. We also just kind of reiterated all of the other things that the seniors should be doing, like teacher recommendation requests, finalizing those college essays. And next month, our focus changes to financial aid. And so that's something that, again, like when we're talking about discipline-based lessons, the math teachers in the freshman, sophomore, and junior years will also start talking to students about, financial awareness and how that relates to your college and career planning. So there's a lot of things happening. Everything can be kind of reviewed on the school website. I do put out a newsletter every month. I try to highlight as many things that we're doing as possible, but sometimes, the plan hadn't been finalized yet, so I don't put it in there. I do also send out regular emails to the students through Naviance, and then also through Pupil Path if it's something that I feel like, the parents should be aware of as well. Next year, 2022, starting in February, we will be switching gears. We still continue working with the seniors as they're getting their college responses. We do financial aid comparison with them in April so that they can make, the right decision for their decision day, which is May 1st. But then we switch gears and start working with the juniors. So I did hear a few parents had junior students. They will have their regular lessons with our college and career coordinators, but in the spring is when I go into the classes, and then we start, the prep for the application process, and that's a monthly process. We also start meeting with the students in small groups or one-on-one. We do that once in the junior year in the spring, and then once in the senior year. So for the seniors, that's ongoing. There are 360 of them. It's kind of hard to get to everyone, but we do. And so we kind of touch base with them twice to find out, like what their thoughts are, what their ideas about college is, and where they're applying, if they need assistance with making those decisions or getting some other ideas. We have those during like the smaller conversations. But that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of what we do in the college office. And I hope that everyone's, reading all the emails. I hope that you guys are set up to get those emails on through Pupil Path and Scheduler. And then, of course, I'm always trying to update our website as best I can. We just switched companies, so I'm kind of getting used to the new way it looks. And so let me just see, I don't see any questions, but if anybody has, I'm happy to answer. If you think of something along the way, I'm willing to stick around at the end as well. I know that there's quite an agenda today.
I do have a questions. I don't see any on the chat, but I have, I guess, a personal question. So my daughter is a junior. Should she try to think about college already, or should she wait until spring to meet with someone on your team, or is there something that she can start now?
Yeah, it's never too early to start thinking about these things, even if it's, just am I interested in going away to college, or do I want to stay home for college, and kind of thinking about the logistics for that. We always recommend starting research early because there are hundreds of colleges out there. So how do you figure out which one is the best for you without doing some research? And so some of that, hopefully she'll have done some of the Naviance activities, at least to see what she's interested in studying. We do the work, like the college specific research in the spring, but there's really no reason you can always navigate through Naviance at any point, right? So whether a freshman, sophomore, junior, you can always go and do the little search tools on Naviance. And I think I see hands up. I don't know if there's a protocol for answering hands up.
I believe Miss Sanders' hand was up, and then Miss Brown.
I just have one, I just wanted to say, there is such a wealth of information on the website in this section to poke through. So I just wanted to encourage all the parents and guardians to go check it out, because there's wonderful things on there already, and then added to what their kids are getting. So thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say it is, I mean, my daughter just started college, so I understand both sides of it, and there's just so much information. It does become a little bit overwhelming. So please, like, again, like as early as possible, if you can start. This is another reason we're trying to kind of, introduce, college into the, the freshman and sophomore years, and really try to get them to think about it as well. Doesn't really become like a concrete idea until they're seniors, but, at least as a parent, I know you have concerns. So the resources are out there for you as well.
How you doing, Ms. Kelly? We spoke before. My son is in the 12th grade, and I want to say that there is a lot of information. I wanted to, I did take advantage of attending the HEST FAFSA workshop.
Oh, great.
One thing about that, I don't know if there's any more sessions or if it comes up again, but if you parents see it, it's very good because you're working one-on-one with someone who's answering all your questions directly. It's not like a roundabout, it's specifically what you want to know. And then they gave me great information about scholarships I wasn't aware of, or different ways for finances and stuff of that nature. And it was really, really good. The sessions last about 45 minutes. I didn't take up the whole 45, but I did have all my questions answered, and I think it's great. And I would like the fact that you have on your link, your website, like on a page, that other options besides just college. Not to say that that isn't the end all be all, but there's other options too for children, for our students, for our babies to, figure out what path they want to take. So I just want to thank you. I get all the emails. And it's perfect. It's good because I want to know, because my kid will come home and he won't remember, or he won't think to tell me, but at least I'm able to bring it up to him. So thank you so much for being so informative. We appreciate that at Abraham Lincoln High School.
Thank you so much. I appreciate hearing that.
All right, we don't seem to have any other questions. But if there are any questions, by all means, please put them in the chat, or Ms. Kelly, if you can go and put your email, oh, never mind. We'll put your email address in here for everyone to look at again. And by all means, she definitely is, I've spoken to her a few times myself. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Anytime. That's what we're here for. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to the parents.
Thank you. And keep us posted. I know last year we asked if you could go by grade. Did anyone get with you on possibly going to do sessions by grade, or just for juniors and seniors for the time being?
I did not get much outreach about that, but I'm always willing and able if there's a demand. Seems to be more of a demand when when it's the junior and senior year. It seems to be the crunch time, so I can understand that.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Thank you. Treasurer's report.
So treasurer's report this month, we actually did have some activity after our last meeting. We had a number of contributions totaling almost $390. They were transferred to our bank account after the end of the month, so they're not reported here. So it looks like we're not doing anything, but we actually have received, like I said, $390 since then, which will be reflected in the next treasurer's report.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Moving on. Secretary report, please.
Michael
Sorry, I was writing minutes. Ms. Medina, actually, do you want to talk about the website just briefly?
Sure. So we met with Ms. Fontana, Mr. Robinson, and several members of the PTA to go over, we give them a huge list of things to update. I just want to know, let the parents know that when you see the parent section on the website, we're only responsible for the very first tab, which is the Parent Teacher Association. Everything else is, it's information that the school puts out, but we have input into that section. There's still a few things that need to be updated, but one of the big things was with the new vendor, we have everything can be translated into your home language. For the directory is there also for the teachers. You can search by first and last name. It's been super helpful to have that information available. In our section, in the additional resources, we do have a few things that need to be updated, like the info packet and our new welcome letter. But those are things that take a little bit more time. Ms. Fontana was able to, in our meeting, some of the things she was able to change right away. And you will be able to see that, like our names, the years, all of the minutes are there, and the meeting notices for this new year are also there. So there's just a few things that need to be updated, but we're super grateful. And thanks to Ms. Robinson and Ms. Fontana. And she's also now working with Mr. Broker, I believe, to finalize the updates.
And I'll just add, I just dropped the info packet in the chat. If anybody would like to pick it up, it is posted, but it's a lot of compilation of good information and resource documents for parents. And also that our meeting recordings are generally posted to our Facebook group after the fact. And you can also view them in YouTube and access translated captions in your language. There is a video actually on the ALHS website about how to do that step by step, which is super helpful. It's in the Parent Tech Help Desk. So that's a great resource to know about.
Next. Okay, before we go on, did you have any more information? Back up one, I'm sorry. Is there any more information for the secretary report?
Nope, I think that was it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies. PTA president, not much going on. The entire team is doing a great job getting all the information out to you all. So there's really not much to discuss. We do have a few slides that we will mention in the next couple of minutes. So about fundraising and about upcoming events. So next slide. Committee reports. Mr. Sandor, Ms. Attwood, do either of you have anything for Finance Committee?
So our outreach to, we were working on additional outreach for fundraising, both to possibly include alumni. We are in the early stages of coming up with some ideas. I know we've talked about some fundraising ideas. And I know, I think that some of that is also in new business as well. But yes, we are definitely looking at ways that we can, looking at and have fundraising already underway to raise funds for the PTA and for ultimately the school and the school community.
I think that might be the right time to post the Cheddar Up link in the chat.
Yep.
As Mr. Sandor mentioned, we collected $390 after last month's meeting, which was the first meeting of the year and very well attended. We also had 2 meetings. And what we're asking is if you can give $5 using the link for the PTA funding. Or you can also do an opt-out and actually donate $50 and basically give for each of the PTA meeting in advance. So you don't get to do $5 every meeting. That would be really lovely. We really appreciate the donations. They really go to support the students. We have awards for grit and resilience. We have award for achievement by seniors. And we also fund teachers support events throughout the year, as well as parent support with food collection. And so all of that, basically all of the money that you contribute goes back to either the students, the parents, or the teachers. So we appreciate that. And Ms. Scott just posted the Cheddar Up link. That's the way that we basically evolved as a PTA by getting our fundraising online, since we are conducting the meetings online. So thank you everyone for last month's donations, and thank you in advance to people this month for donating to us. That's it.
Thank you. Next. This is one of two events that we have going on. This one is for our lovely, anybody who's really into chocolate, as I am, and remembers the chocolate bars that we used to sell at the schools. Due to COVID, that to me is like a curse word, but due to that, we decided that instead of having the kids come in to get the bars and sell them to individual people, we felt that the best way to go and do this fundraising was to do it online. In a few moments, we'll post the link. A couple events that we're looking at fundraising towards, some key initiatives, which I would like for Mr. Robinson to briefly talk about. One of them is going to be sponsoring the school activities attendance extravaganza, as well as contributing to the school's food drive. Mr. Robinson, if you could take a moment to briefly discuss about the attendance and why it's so important, as well as the school's food drive.
Yeah, of course. So we're very excited to partner with you all in the attendance extravaganza that we ran before the pandemic. And we're gonna have to adapt a little bit this year, but it's still gonna be a great time. It's basically a game show, kind of fun atmosphere that we put on for kids with what we call A+ attendance, which is usually students with like 98 to 100% attendance, students who really came out to school. And so just on a side note, if a student is sick or has an excuse, then that doesn't count towards the attendance. So they would still be, if the absence is excused, they're still marked absent and it counts as absence, but we can pull a side report to make sure we scoop everybody up who has really been showing up all year. And it's a great activity because we do a lot of interventions for all different subgroups, 80 to 89% attendance, 50 to 70% attendance, under 50% attendance. There's a lot of resources and a lot of interventions that we do for those students. And this is kind of like an aspirational goal that we give to students who have the really high attendance and come to school every day. And it's a lot of fun. Everybody who's invited, they come to the auditorium, they get a ticket with a number on it. And we have an MC at the front of the auditorium who picks the numbers from a hat, and whoever gets the number called, the student has to come up to the auditorium, participate in a game like pin the hat on Abe Lincoln, or there's another game where you have like ping pong balls in a tissue box that's wrapped around your waist. You have to get the ping pong balls off. And then we also do different activities that get the whole crowd involved. Like we have rows participating in, we give them a scrambled up word and the whole row has to put the word in order so that it makes sense and hold it up, and then they all win a t-shirt. So it's just gonna be great to have the PTA involved in that and maybe help with the planning as well as the prizes and any ideas. I'm sure you all have ideas to add to that. And for the food drive, we're always trying to get more parent involvement with our online systems. And the city also has an online system. So our online systems are Opero and the Messenger system. And so for those, we have the Opera sign up, and we also have like if parents have emails on file, and we're trying to increase the number of parents for that. And for every 50 parents that we increase, the school is going to go to donate $10 to our food drive, which is being run by our student activities from now till the end of November. And the PTA has said that they're going to match that donation of 10 pounds for every 50 new registrants. And that's also going to go for Pupil Path, which is another online system. So if we get 50 new parent Pupil Path registrants, that'll be $10 of food donated there too. And all food donated goes to City Harvest, which does have a presence in Coney Island. So it's for a really good cause in both ends. Gets parents engaged and helps the food bank.
Thank you very much. I can say I ordered it. I ordered my chocolates on the 9th. They are delicious. I ordered them on the 9th of October and I got them today during lunchtime, which was probably why I love them so much. And they're absolutely delicious. Well worth it. Even if you just want to be selfish and order a small box for yourself. Of course, I can't find my box. But they are these little individual boxes. Actually, I just found it. Hold on one second. Sorry. We're used to seeing the boxes. We're used to seeing the chocolate bars. They actually come for individuals. This little box right here. Hopefully you can see it. It's not letting me. Sorry. And it'll come up with these little, tiny little chocolates. Just enough to go and savor just for a few minutes. So you have to be careful because you will end up eating this entire delicious box. They come up with dark chocolate, regular chocolate, mint chocolate, chocolate pretzels, peanut butter chocolate. And then of course, if you wanted to, you could get the actual bars themselves and sell them individually if you like. Definitely well worth it. And the fundraising started on the 8th of October and will end on the 27th of November. The great thing is about this, we get 40% of the cost. Oh my gosh, Mr. Sandor, help me out here. I just went blank.
40% of the sale price.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got the smell of chocolate and now I can't get it out of my head. My apologies.
It's intoxicating, but yes,
It's very intoxicating. I apologize.
It is a fairly high return rate, and again, I'm sure most of us here in the audience have seen someone sell it before. And again, World's Finest is pretty much the standard for sales, chocolate sales in schools these days. So, yeah.
Be selfish. Buy a box. Well worth it.
Or two.
The corner.
Give them to your friends. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Oh, thank you for the question. I apologize. For this year, because it's our first time, we're just going to go with the organization, which is going to be Abraham Lincoln. So the link that I provided will go straight to the the school organization, which will then be Abraham Lincoln High School. All right, the school code is 720412. But the link in the chat will take you directly there. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, moving on. Title I committee report. I will have Ms. Brown, and I don't know if Ms. Alston is on, to discuss what Title I is. We have a couple of slides, and that will lead us then to asking people if they want to be part of the Title I committee. I will need a chairperson as well as a co-chair, and I'll have Ms. Brown speak more on that.
Hello. Hi. I think
My apologies,
Brown
Ms.
is-
Alston, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Ms. Alston, and I was the Title I chairperson last year. So I guess I'll start by reading the slides. Title I is the largest federally funded educational program. The program provides supplemental funds to school districts to assist schools with the highest student concentration of poverty to meet school educational goals. The Title I school is the school receiving federal funds for Title I students. Parent involvement ensures student improvement is achieved, engage and support parents, guardians as partners in the education of our children. So basically, it's extra monies that these schools are allotted based on like the percentage of students that they have that are considered at poverty or below the poverty line. And basically, what we did, or what we had planned to do prior to COVID, was to host a series of workshops to help, families, basically all families in the schools, not just to help Title I families, it's all families in the schools, but we're able to use that extra funding to put on those workshops. So we had, ideas for, stress management, freshman orientations, basically, helping parents transition from, having a child in middle school to now having a child in high school. What else? Right now, we had like a list of workshops that we were going to put on, but with COVID, we weren't really able to do anything last year. So that's basically Title I in a nutshell. I know, Ms. Scott, there's another slide, right? All right, so we have why is parent involvement a key requirement of Title I? We want to improve student achievement, and basically, as you help the families, you help the students. So it's basically a mutual relationship there to engage and support parent guardians as partners in the education of their children. So yeah, it helps to get more parents involved in their child's education as well as getting involved in the actual entire school. Let's see what else. Who are Title I parents? Title I schoolwide programs, all parent guardians are Title I parents. So basically, like I said before, it's not only, you don't have to be a Title I parent or to, be a part of the Title I committee, just basically committed to doing the work that comes with it. And who is responsible for implementing Title I parent involvement requirements? The school is responsible for ensuring that the Title I parent involvement requirements are met. And basically, every year before the end of October, the Title I committee is supposed to meet with the principal to spearhead the projects and meet with the principal to discuss the budget and what's there and what can be done to I'm sorry, I'm just cooking dinner at the same time. What can be done to help the school out as far as those Title I footings? Did I miss anything, Ms. Scott?
No, I'm gonna go on to the next slide to kind of sum up what you just said. So
Okay.
a few lists. So thank you so much. A few listing of the volunteer duties is basically you need to get an understanding of what the comprehension education plan is. So there'll be times that you'll be sitting on the SLT board to review these comprehensive education plans. You'll also be working with the principal as well as Mr. Robinson to discuss what title funds are available, what events can use the Title I funds. And as stated a few moments ago, there will be one annual Title I mandatory meeting that must be done by October 30th. And then there will be individual either monthly or quarterly meetings to continue with Title I the Title I presence within the school. Mr. Robinson, do you have any other questions to add? Any additional information to add?
No, that pretty much sums it up. I think the Title I chairperson and I think it's, what is it called, the alternate or? Right?
Yes, it's a co-chair member, exactly. And then there's also team members. I believe they should try to have a total of 8 personnel But the main two positions would be chairperson and co-chair, and then they would go and combine they would go and create their own team.
Right, right. Yeah. So the team forms kind of this, what they call a Title I pact. And that's those meetings are supposed to be ongoing with the ideas coming in and the school collaborating with the Title I pact to improve family engagement in all different areas.
So with that being said, I now have to ask, no, not have to ask, I would like to ask if anybody, and I possibly would be interested to go and spearhead the Title I. I would need one chairperson and one co-chair. The way it goes is, depending on how many people put their name in the hat, everyone will then vote. And we'll have to vote twice, one for the chairperson, and then we do a second vote for the co-chairperson. So if I could either, in the chat, if you could state if you're interested. It really doesn't, with the Title I, you only put as much work, you only have to attend depending on how much work you want to put in. If you only want to go and do the Title I meeting and call it a day, you can. If you want to go and do monthly meetings, which is highly, highly encouraged with the principal, by all means, please do so. But you spearhead how much time you want to put into the Title I to ensure that it's successful with the school. COVID kind of has not been able to be very friendly with us. So we have not been able to properly spearhead it for the past year. So we would like to go and have a team come on. I'm going to stop talking for a few moments and I'm going to let people decide if they would like to. Sorry, I was just reading the chat. If they would like to be interested, I'm going to first start with chairperson. If you can please let me know your names in the chat of anyone that is interested. As a reminder, you must have the last 4 digits of your child's OSIS number annotated in the, I'm sorry, next to your name. One more thing, Mr. Robinson, can you explain how the Title I meetings are? Is it mandated to have it during school hours? Can the meetings be in the evening? I mean, how do you, I would assume you're the designee for the principal. Would you be doing these meetings?
Yeah,
and
sure.
Can you mention the meeting that's going to happen next week?
The Title I position can also happen in collaboration with the SLT meetings. So the Title I chairperson is invited to the SLT meetings. So that can be a place where Title I is discussed and ideas are brought there. We do have the Title I meeting this Thursday for families. That's kind of like a general information meeting about Title I. And then after that, it's the chairperson and school staff, the SLT, form the Title I pact. And that's really where we get into the nitty gritty of, what's the best way to engage parents and how the school sees the best use of the funds and what the parents think. And we kind of just collaborate on that. So if anybody is part of the SLT and they also want to serve as a Title I,
one person. We do have someone in the chat.
So Miss Samantha Silbert in the chat.
Yep, I'm watching it. I'm letting Mr.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Robin finish before I mention it again. But thank you so much.
Did I add enough there? Are there any questions else I could answer?
The only question, and I just want to make it just clearer that it doesn't have to happen during work hours, which I would assume work hours would probably be like school hours, because sometimes work hours are a little different. The person messaged me privately, so I don't want to
Yeah,
go into too much detail. So
It will
I'm
prob-
assuming their work hours are during the day. Most of our meetings are normally after 5. Is that correct?
Right, it would probably happen in SLT. It would probably be connected with SLT. That'd be the best place for this work to be done.
And SLT is normally held on around 5:30. Sorry, 5:30 Wednesdays. Okay, thank you, Mr. Robinson.
All right.
Okay, so far we only have one person. Is there anyone else going once for chair? Is there anyone else that would like to step up as chairperson? I have not announced co-chair yet. This is just for chairperson. They would be leading the front on this fight for Title I. Going twice. All right, so just to be clear, so far we only have one person, is that correct? And that is Miss Filbert. All right, because there's only one person, I want to say, Ms. Filbert, and please tell me if I am announcing your name wrong. Congratulations. Because you don't have anyone contesting against you, I would like to thank you for stepping up as chairperson on the Title I. This is the first time in 3 years that we haven't had to strong arm someone into the position. So congratulations.
Thank you,
We'll be
thank you.
Thank you. I will, if you could possibly private message me or Ms. Medina, if you don't mind taking the information, we would need your email address and phone number, but it has to be via private message. So this
Maybe-
way
No
it doesn't
problem,
get
no
posted
problem.
out there. You got that, Ms. Medina?
Yes, I think Ms. Filbert had emailed, we communicated via emails to the PTA. Would that be okay also?
Yes, I
Yes,
think we
yes.
did.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we have our chairperson. Congrats. And actually, I just want to write down your name properly. Now we have a co-chairperson. Co-chair / member, basically that person works alongside the Title I chairperson and or would have to go and attend meetings when that chairperson is unavailable. Is there anyone that would like to step in as co-chairperson? Ms. Brown? Anybody want to make a motion?
We have someone in the chat, Leticia Jones, has offered to be co-chair.
Ooh. Ms. Brown, you're lucky on that motion. All right, so we have Ms. Leticia Jones. Hold on. Is there anyone else that is interested on attending as a co-chairperson? I'm setting up the election just in case, so forgive me if I'm a bit off. Is there anyone else that wants to fill in as co-chair for Title I? Going once. Going twice. We only have one person for co-chair, Miss Leticia Jones. Oh, Ms. Jones, I just realized that. My apologies. I haven't had enough chocolate. All right, going, before I say 3 times, am I missing a second chair? Or did someone's name pop up I did not see? Okay, Ms. Leticia Jones, congratulations. Congrats. I am so happy for the both of you. Yes, please, in the chat, Ms. Medina just put in chair and co-chair, please
Oh, sorry.
email Abraham Lincoln High School, PTA@gmail.com. Congratulations. This is the first time we did not have to go and beg, plead, and throw chocolates at people. So thank you so much for this. We'll provide more details. The one thing you definitely need to put on your calendar, on October 28th, you will be asked to attend the Title I meeting at 5 p.m. If you haven't already registered, myself and Mr. Robinson will definitely provide you more details on that information. And I'll also link you up with the previous Title I chair and co-chair. They will side ride with you for a couple of months, but we'll have that meeting at another time. Okay, so again, congratulations. We have Miss Philbert and Miss Jones as our Title I representatives. Congratulations. All right, moving on. Let me close this out so the poll doesn't pop up again. Next, yes, our favorite one, Family Healing Ambassador Report. Please, please tell us the great news that's going to happen next week.
I don't think there has been anyone that has been more excited for this than Miss Scott. I think unfortunately you're not going to be able to be there, but
No, I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Okay,
sneaking in for about a half an hour. I already registered.
Awesome. Okay, so let me see if I have it. Yes, here's the info. Please go ahead and register. You have to be in attendance to get the $10 Amazon gift card, but I've been working with Mr. Robinson, Ms. La Rosa, who's a social worker at the school, with a community organization with DECO. We just met earlier today. We're finalizing the presentation. It's about the trauma that we all been experienced through these last almost 2 years. So it's going to be a little bit interactive. It's not going to be recorded actually. So people will be able to speak freely and just have that moment to come together. We'll talk about the different ways that we've kind of been traumatized a little bit by COVID-19. And then we're also definitely going to talk about how do we cope and how do we move forward from it. We're going to have different activities, including one similar to what our students are doing in the classrooms on a weekly basis with the social emotional learning. I'm definitely also putting a resource packet together with the collaboration of Miss La Rosa, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to try to translate at least into Spanish since I do speak Spanish. And then at the end, I met with I had a conference call with Mr. Robinson and Mr. Hugelboom, and Mr. Hugelboom wants to continue this initiative. So that means that we will also be asking, what do you want to see next, basically, and make sure you have your voices heard. We're going to have a poll at the end so that you can let us know what you want to see next. And I can see this going hand in hand with Title I as well. I wanted to say I had my hand raised before we moved forward, moved into my section, that I think Ms. Alston and Ms. Brown are going to be awesome cheerleaders for the new chairs for the Title I, and they have awesome ideas. So definitely, I think the newly elected are in good hands. But for my Family Healing Ambassador presentation, it's going to be right after the Title I. So hopefully you can make it. I know it's going to be a lot's happening that day, but I hope to see you all there. And also, let me not forget, Mr. Capizzo is the one that's going to be handling all the behind the scenes, so all the logistics, as our Lincoln somebody for the PTA. So thank you so much.
Ms. Medina, can you also explain, I know the PTA voted you in earlier before the summer, but can you explain what you did over the summer? That it wasn't just putting a date together. There was more planning involved, and I think everyone should know more details on that. If you don't mind just taking a few moments.
Yeah, absolutely. So my shortest training was an hour and a half. They usually went up to 2.5 hours. We had, which is something that I'm going to mention in the presentation as well, but we had excellent trainers from professors, psychologists, social workers, a lot of professionals. One of the organizations was TREP, which I believe all of the teachers in the school have been trained by that organization. So got the training from the best. It was over 13 hours. They also threw in an extra 3 optional sessions that I went to as well. They were called the Wellness Wednesday cafes. Those were short, just 1 hour more local with our district. Yeah, we went over a lot of things. All of this has to do with mental health. It's a mental health initiative by the DOE. And we're just looking forward to putting all of that together. Yeah, it was July, August, one of the last ones, it was actually September 28th. I did one of the sessions on my birthday. So definitely, yeah, I've been, I kind of rewatched the videos. I'm gonna ask, I think all of this information can be shared. So I'm gonna make sure to ask the people at the Family Wellness Collective to make sure that we can share that Google Drive, but I think it can be shared with everyone. So that's something that's going to go in the resource packet as well.
Wonderful. I look forward to attending the session. I know it's going to be a double session next week, but if everyone can please attend. And am I correct on my date? It's next Thursday on the 28th at 6 o'clock?
Yes, and we're not trying to keep you there for too long, but I really think one of the big things for me is if you walk away not feeling alone, feeling like you have some kind of support, that the school's here for you, that there's resources. We're also listing all the things that the school is doing for our students. And this is definitely the target audience is the parents, but students are also welcome to attend. But yeah, this is more of the parents and what you can do for yourselves and just take care of yourself a little bit.
Thank you very much. I wasn't part of any of those meetings, but I did hear how long, intense, and how good they were. So I appreciate the time, the volunteer time that you took to attend those sessions. And I'm so sorry that there was one on your birthday. I hope that you were able to at least enjoy some part of your birthday. So I'm definitely looking forward to attending the session next week. And I hope everyone attends that session as well as our Title I. So again, Ms. Medina, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
Sorry.
thank you. I was just gonna ask that. Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the registration. Please make sure that you register in order to be able to attend. All right, moving on, Teacher's Corner. Mr. Somebody?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of doing what every teacher's doing right now, which is great.
Can you just briefly introduce yourself? And
yes,
then,
yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Mr. Capizzo. I am the one of the 9th grade algebra teachers, and I am known as the Lincoln Somebody for the PTA. Teacher's Corner. Just coming in to fill you in on what's happening, what's going on. To give all parents some updates on what's going on at Lincoln. So first thing to acknowledge, the marking period is ending tomorrow. That's when the marker period ends. Students have until tomorrow or based on the teacher's discretion to get their grades up before we have to put them up. So we have to put them up by Tuesday. However, Tuesday very early in the morning. But so some teachers may request some stuff before that date. Sometimes they bring it by Monday, but Friday is the end of the marking period itself. Students will be getting their report cards by Friday. I believe they'll be posted digitally on Pupil Path, so you can see what their report cards are. And then because of that, of course, there's parent-teacher conference. So parent-teacher conference this year is happening on Wednesday, November 10th. It will be done virtually from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. we're off Thursday, the 11th, because the 11th is Veterans Day. And then Friday will be the other parent-teacher conference, which will be virtual, which will be from 12:35 to 2:35. We're going to get more information about how we're going to send out all that stuff for parents, so then they know how to sign up for the parent-teacher conference, for all that. I believe the way that we've done it is in past last year is we usually did it through Teams. We send out the link for everyone, and then they sign up based on that discretion. And that's what's going on with the grading portion aspect. We are also doing a food drive right now. I think you probably mentioning that, Ms. Scott, a little bit. We are doing the food drive right now. All grades are participating. We're going to be donating to International Harvest, and all the grades are participating with a winning grade, I think gets like a prize, but I know that's being run with COSA, is doing that, the student activities for the school. And other than that, nothing else really at the moment. We're still waiting to hear about any sort of discussions with possible trips. We're still waiting for any guidance on that. And other than that, that is what's going on with Teachers Corner. Unfortunately, right now, no teachers besides myself were able to come this time because, as you can expect, everyone's trying to get their grades done. So, but from what I was talking with some of the other teachers, I know one of the big things right now is just making sure, I guess like we're all trying to get adjusted to the change in the schedules with, some students are 1 to 7, 2 to 8, 3 to 9. And then also making sure we're getting all of the kids who are on our registry, making sure they're coming, and those who are coming off, we get them off. So, but other than that, that's what's going on with teachers. Any questions?
I have just a couple questions. You mentioned about the report cards, so we can expect those next week.
Mm-hmm.
Should parents look at things, look for them, or is it going to be sent to them? How does that work?
So usually the way that we've done report cards is that they automatically get uploaded to Pupil Path. They get uploaded on that Friday. So then all students are notified that way. We used to print them, but I think because of, supplies and stuff, it's just better to have it digital. So any parents, you can always sign up for Pupil Path to allow you to see your students' grades and as well as get the report cards as well.
I'm assuming that everybody has Pupil Path right now, but if any parent does not have Pupil Path, please either contact me in private via direct message or contact Mr. Capizzo. He can help you get onto Pupil Path. It's very important. A lot of information on your child's grades and what classes they're in and how to contact teacher. It's really all on that. If you don't have it, it really puts you at a serious disadvantage. So let us know. The other question I have is, are there going to be NX grades issued during the session?
Okay, so this year there are no NX grades. It's just a regular grade now, moving forward. So there are some instances, and Mr. Robinson, if you're here, correct me if I'm wrong. I know that there can be a 60 given, with the hopes of the 60 becoming a 65 down the road. And the only other grade that I recalled is there is an NL grade. An NL grade is given to a student who just got recently added into the program very late. So there wasn't enough time to give a grade for the marking period. But I believe it's just standard, 55 for fail, 60 for it's a fail, but in the hopes that they will turn it around. And then everything goes in increments of 5, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. And then from 90 to 100, it can be increments of 1.
Another question is, are the teachers notifying the families if the students are failing or being very close to failing? Is there an outreach before?
So the expectation is with the final week that we have right now is that teachers should be giving some form of notification to parents, whether it be phone calls home or emails notifying them if their child is in danger of failing. It is unfortunately, it is Thursday. If we had this meeting maybe a week prior, that would have been a great time to say, hey, is my child doing okay? But yes, any sort of notifications, it is expected that the teacher will get in contact with you to say, hey, unfortunately, your child is going to get this grade, but here's what to do moving forward with that.
Thank you. There's a question also about senior dues. The parent has been calling the school but not getting answers at the number that they had. And I'm not sure what number they called. They want to know who's in charge of senior dues and how to pay them.
Okay, so senior dues. Let me double check with that. Unless
Mr. Capizzo.
Sure, go ahead.
The best place for any senior activities is the website. To go to the website and you'll see Mr. Medina is running the senior dues. I'm gonna go on right now. You just go the student. Sorry.
It's also posted.
Miss
the
Sandor
chat.
just posted the senior activities in the chat. But maybe it would be good to post Mr. Molina's email as well.
Yeah, sure. We can put Mr. Molina's email. I'm not at my computer here. But it's right that on that link is his email there. And it's the Instagram account. And to pay senior dues, you can actually do it online this year also. So it's $150 until November 30th. And then starting December, it jumps up to $180. And it lists all the things that money goes to right there on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. There's another question that actually might be for you as well.
Sure.
Is it normal to have a double period class in AP history, or was this done because they needed to find a class for my son?
No, AP history, AP global history is a double period course.
So that's normal for that particular class to be a double period. Wonderful.
Yep, that's this state guidance on that course, is that it's a 4-credit course sequence. And at Lincoln, we do that all 4 credits in the 10th grade. So they take 2 credits, which is a double period course in term 1, and 2 credits, which will be another double period course in term 2 to complete the sequence.
Ms. Attwood, we have one more question, which may have been answered, but in
there's
case nobody has the
2
chat.
There's 2. I also have private and direct messages to me. So there's a couple
just
more.
answer the last 2, and then we'll have to move on and save it for the end.
Okay. All right. I see. If the teacher doesn't reach out and your child is failing, who do I speak with? I do not see most of my child's grade nor any assignments in pupil path.
Okay, so the best person who you would have to reach out to would have to be, give me 1 second. Okay, so the best person who you have to reach out to would be the guidance counselor for the grade. So for 9th grade, it's Miss Lamberg. For 10th grade, it is Miss Felser. For 11th grade, it would be Miss Severa Watson. And for 12th grade, it would be Mr. Brian Vega, which I believe online on the school's directory on the website. You can actually email them directly. They also have numbers at the school too, that you can always call the school and be transferred to them as well, which I believe, Mr. Sandor, thank you so much for that over there. This is why you're doing this. Yes.
Mr. Capizzo, if you're telling me a teacher did not reach out and has nothing on Pupil Path, then you can email me directly. The guys are a great resource, but I would want to know what's going on. I would want to inform so I could address it with the teacher, because that's supposed to be happening.
Mr. Robinson, are you sure you want all those emails? Because that might be a lot.
It shouldn't be.
Just so everyone knows, as a reminder, our parent coordinator, unfortunately, has moved on to another school. So Mr. Robinson is filling in as the parent coordinator, as well as his own position as AP, as well as / everything else that is added on to him. So most things that are going on at the school does get emailed to him if you can't get the guidance counselor.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Scott. I would like to think most teachers are following those expectations, and that is the expectations for our teachers. So if anybody's not following that expectation, I would want to know.
Right. And just to address something I just see in the chat, I know, and then we'll move on. Someone mentioned the freshmen taking Regents for next year. Well, correct. They are taking Regents for June of this upcoming year of 2022. They'll be taking it depending upon what it's usually in math and in science. So if they're in a living environment course, they'll be taking the Regents. If they're in earth science, they'll be taking the Regents. Regents are back on schedule. Even with math, if you're taking algebra or geometry, they are back on schedule. So, but they'll be taking it in June. So that's just answering that question very easily.
Thank you. That's it for the questions. All the questions have been answered. If a parent feels that their question wasn't answered or they did not get the answer, just put it in the chat. We'll take it at the end and kind of like send you back with the right information. And now I'm turning it back to Ms.
Thank you very much. Please, if you haven't done so already, I will get to that question in 1 second. There's one more question, Mr. Capizzo. But before we do that, if you haven't done so already, please go into this link for the PTA general sign-in sheet and just quickly sign in. And to your answer, to your question, Ms. Meadows, if you're in a chemistry class, do you have to take the Regent if you have all science credit? And the answer is yes. Continue posting any of your questions. We will definitely take them at the end. My timekeeper, I'm sure, is going to start texting me if I don't start moving on. So we're going to move on to old business. We don't really have too much of the old business except for the committee reports, and the committee reports have posted that information. Team, do you have any information you want to put out as old business? If not, I'm going to move on. Okay. Next, as I hit enter, my bad. New business. So we already, again, congratulations to our Title I members. I believe, I hope not, but I believe we may have 2 executive board positions opening up. I will be getting confirmation next week if that is the case. If we are, they are going to be non-mandatory positions, and we will be holding elections for those positions in November, and we will have notification out of what those positions are by middle of next week. But I just wanted to put it out there that we will most likely have 2 openings on the executive board. Okay, moving on. Whew. This one's going to be a big one. I'm going to let either our somebody, Mr. Capizzo or Mr. Robinson, discuss this. because this is going to be a huge partnership that will incorporate our attendance extravaganza. I'm sorry, not the attendance extravaganza, our food drive event. But I will let somebody, Mr. Capizzo and Mr. Robinson, discuss the initiative that we'll be working with them on.
I heard about this. So I know about it, but I am not 100% fully into it. So I'm literally going to read off the slides, but no, just because
Then we're
heard
gonna have
about
Mr.
this.
Robinson discuss it.
Yes,
Okay.
if possible, Robinson, can you share more light on this?
Yeah, sure. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier in the meeting with our partnership with the PTA and improving parent engagement in our online systems. We really want parents signed up for Opera and for Pupil Path, and we want to have every parent's email because that's just the best way to get our newsletters out to parents is really through email. Although if we don't have their email, they are getting information via phone blast. So Opera is where we get all of our important documents from families like blue cards. Teachers can use it for trips, housing questionnaires. It's basically a program that lets parents sign for things on their phone, which is really important because we really need to verify the parent's signature for things like blue cards where a parent is putting down who has access to their child, who can pick them up in case of emergency if they can't come. And I'm just gonna look up real quick to see. We have in our latest newsletter, I gave you the numbers on that, on where we are with each program. Yeah.
Mr. Robinson, I know,
Yeah.
I didn't see today's newsletter, but in the first newsletter that you had this initiative on, you were giving numbers. Will you continue doing that number so we can see the increase?
Yeah, we're gonna, at the end of the month, we're gonna update those numbers. And then that's gonna be
can the PTA get weekly updates so that we can kind of push the initiative?
Yeah, we can do weekly updates. You know, the initiative's just getting going. That's why October, I think after October we could do, it might make more sense to do weekly. But you know, when did we, let me see when this was sent out last week. So we could check in on the numbers and just see where we're at for you. No problem. I just didn't want to, I'd rather post like 50 new registrants than 47, you know, make sure we're getting those 10 pounds of food up there and celebrating that. But if you think weekly would be, you know, more exciting, then let's do that. We can do that for you. So the other online account that we really want parents to sign up for is obviously Pupil Path. Hopefully everybody here in this meeting is signed up for Pupil Path and you see the benefit of it because you can look at your child's attendance. You can see how they're doing in every class. It's something we really value as a school to keep parents knowledgeable. And as we go digital, that's where programs are. We're not going to be doing paper programs anymore. It's all going to be on Pupil Path. And same thing with report cards. If a student wants a paper program or a paper report card, we'll obviously print one for them. But in general, we're going to be directing all students and families to Pupil Path. And finally, we have our New York City Schools accounts, which is the one-stop shop, as I forgot who said that earlier in the meeting, but it's what the city's trying to create as the one-stop shop. So right now we have the New York City Schools account and Opera, but eventually the New York City Schools account is probably going to take over everything a parent needs besides the teacher's grade book, which will be in pupil path. So in the New York City Schools account, you can, if you're a parent of a 11th or 12th grader, you can even see the student's transcripts at any time without bothering, the school for it. And you can see report cards, you can see the student's program, you can opt into testing, you can update your own contact information. You can't update your address because we need proof of address for that. And you can't yet update contacts as in like the blue card contacts of other people who can pick up your child at school, but you can't update your own phone number and your own email. So that would also save you a step. So those are really the 3 accounts that we're really pushing. And instead of kind of incentivizing parents or somehow like giving wristbands for signing up, we're really pushing the food donations, which I think is unique and for a better cause. And so hopefully it's something that builds momentum as we start seeing these numbers increase. So if you know any other parents, hopefully everybody here is already signed up for those accounts. Hopefully I'll preach it to the choir. If not, sign up for those accounts. And if you're talking to other parents or you have platforms to talk to other parents, then try to get them on these platforms for us so we can raise some pounds in food to donate to City Harvest. Any questions on the partnership or?
Yeah, sorry. You had mentioned that the way that you're going to reach out is, at least one of the ways is phone banking, right? So that's one way that you're going to reach the parents to try to get them to do it. If you get them on the phone at the moment, right? And besides the emails and the notification.
Right, that's correct. Thank you for filling that in. Yep, the big way is we're going to be targeting families through the communications we do have, which is the phone blast, and then also following up with individual phone calls that will support any parent who is having a hard time registering.
Thank you.
The attendance extravaganza, I spoke about that earlier in the meeting too. It's just I'll just emphasize again, it's just a great event for students who have what we call A+ attendance, which would be maybe 98% attendance or better. And it's like a big extravaganza. It's a game show in the auditorium where students come in. We try to get a hyped up atmosphere, just celebrating their achievement. It's going to happen in January at the end of term 1, and we'll use term 1 data to celebrate student attendance, and then every student will get a chance to be able to enter into the term 2 attendance extravaganza based on their attendance. So another hope for the initiative is that it generates some positive buzz. The extravaganza, people are walking out of the auditorium with prizes, and other students kind of get the peer pressure to say, oh, okay, well, if I was in school a couple more days, if I sludged through the rainstorm or whatever it was, I could have been a part of this. Maybe I'm going to commit to that for term 2. And for those who did sludge through the rainstorm, we're going to celebrate them for coming to school and having good attendance.
Well,
so the partner,
you. So we have 2 people working. The PTA is working with, thank you, Mr. Robinson, with their attendance committee that they just recently put together. And we are looking for volunteers, please, to help us plan this event. So if you know anyone, if you want to partake, if you just want to dab your foot in and say, well, maybe I want to help, I will definitely pull you in. So please, we definitely need people, even if you just want to just throw in an idea, by all means, please come in and join. That includes teachers as well, Mr. Capizzo. If any teachers want to, throw in ideas through you, by all means. The PTA, as a reminder, is parent and teachers. So it doesn't just have to be parents. Our main goal is the students. So we really want to go and try to definitely want to be able to go and get people to help. So please, you can even put it in the chat if you're interested, or even a maybe. All righty. So we're going to move on to the next. Thank you, Ms. Attwood. Awesome. All right. Before we move on to that, there was information. I apologize. Somehow it slipped off these slides. I would like for Ms. Medina to please mention about an initiative that she has slowly been putting together and has been working very hard on this. So please provide that input we were just talking about.
Sure. So over the summer, the PTA was approached by Test and Trace, one of the organizations through the city, to help spread the word about vaccination. So with Mr. Sandor and Ms. Sandor and the whole board, we agreed that we would take on this initiative. Mr. Hugebone is 100% on board. And what we want to do is host a vaccine mobile van at the school, as it was done in August. And what this event is going to do is the PTA can raise up to $20,000 that will go directly to the PTA, and have other members have said earlier in the meeting, all of that goes to benefit the ALHS community, right? The students, the parents, the teachers. That's a lot of money. I want to get as much of this money as possible coming to the school. I already submitted like a survey so we can pick out a date. I want volunteers. I want to involve the students. Obviously, we have to coordinate with the school. I want to spread the word all around the neighborhood, because that is also one of the reasons why, as the Family Healing Ambassador, our school got picked. COVID has hit this zip code very hard. So we want to get the word out there. If people go to this event, once we finalize setting it up, then the PTA, and they use our referral code, the PTA is going to get $100 for every person who gets their first dose at this event or at any other city-run site. On top of that, the person themselves, the person that's getting the vaccine, can also get $100. Or I think there are tickets as well. My son just did it. It didn't take 5 days to get the card, which he chose the Visa card. It didn't take 5 days. It's taken about 3 to 4 weeks if you choose that. But there's also 3 places in the city where you can go and pick up the card yourself if you choose the cash option. But this is also another thing that we have to finalize, but we can also bring in community partners. Like I'm thinking the libraries, hospitals, the NYU clinic. I think Miss Attwood, if you had mentioned some things in the survey as well, if you want to bring it up. Yeah, we can make this really big. We can bring in a lot of people. We can get people vaccinated. So I'm excited about it. And we can bring money for the PTA.
Yes, the only thing I wanted to add is that I'm going to go to the fun run, the PTA fun run in Prospect Park. It's this weekend, Saturday. And I'm going to basically talk to people and see if they want to get vaccinated, and like encourage people to get vaccinated. And if they do, they can refer the Abraham Lincoln High School, and basically they get $100, we get $100. So we don't have that much time left. I'm not sure when that program ends, but it's ending pretty soon, in a few weeks. So anybody still waiting to get their first vaccination, they can basically, if they decide to do it now, they can get the PTA $100 in addition to getting $100 for themselves. So it's a good thing to reach out, even if you hear people who say, "Oh, I or my child is going to get vaccinated next week." You can say, "Hey, you could just give the PTA, Abraham Lincoln High School PTA name as a referring organization, and you'll basically raise $100 for the PTA." So it doesn't have to be part of an event. doesn't have part of the van. It doesn't even have to be people who go to Abraham Lincoln. If you have family or friends or neighbors and you know they're going to get vaccinated, you can just ask them to just refer us, and then everybody gets the $100 reward. That's it. Back to you.
All right. If there's no questions, we're going to move on. Thank you. All right. Right here is just some quick information about additional websites. Most of them have been heard. Information about the school store gym can be found in the Abraham Lincoln portal, Pupil Path, New York City schools account, which was mentioned, some COVID related sites, also on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is managed by the school, well, not the school, but certain individuals, the school, as well as the students. There's also Lincoln Media, which we probably want to mention on here, that is on YouTube. And then there's the parents' Facebook, Abraham Lincoln High School PTA parents Facebook page that we have. So there's a lot of information that's put out there. Next slide. This is very small and I apologize, but there's a parent engagement school contact tree that I believe is on the Abraham Lincoln portal under news. And it discusses the parent engagement, certain questions, and what ways does Lincoln help you to stay engaged? How can you reach teachers? What is the best way for the families to reach the teachers? And this isn't a full listing of all the teachers, but the priority of the main teachers, the assistant principal, as well as the guidance counselors. A full listing can either be found on Pupil Path, or they finally, I believe, updated the directory on Abraham Lincoln staff directory on their portal as well. That has recently been updated to have that information. Okay, moving on. We have the New York City Dewey School official calendar. Election day, am I correct, on November 2nd? It's still going to be fully remote. Mr. Capizzo, can you explain what this fully remote standard is going to be? Because this will be our first time in a in-person environment that we're going to a fully remote class, even though there's no remote options. So can you explain that?
Sure. Yeah, it's an asynchronous instruction day. So that is a day where the students are doing some remote work, which will be supplied to them on Microsoft Teams, and they will be doing it on that day. And they'll be supplied to them from all of their teachers. There will be something for them to do that day. As far as the workload or how much guidance is forthcoming for Lincoln to share with teachers what that would look like. But from our understanding on that day, all students will be doing some remote work of some kind on Microsoft Teams.
Mr. Capizzo, I have a question. Is that okay to ask now?
Absolutely.
Will there be classes on that day, November 2nd, or just classwork that's done via MS Teams? It's asynchronous, right? Which means there's no like live classes that the kids have to attend.
Correct.
Okay.
No live classes, asynchronous. So an
So
activity.
does that mean it's just like extra homework? That's how it's going to be perceived by the kids, right?
No, no, it would be more perceived as this is your assignment for the day, like kind of like if we were in class of some kind, this is what you would be doing that day. So I'm sure that our teachers will be doing something where they probably have a video posted of them, showing how to do the assignment or whatever it is. And they'll be doing that work would then be completed by the students with Microsoft Teams on Microsoft Teams, whatever platform, if it's Nearpod or whatever sort of thing that's set up by the teacher. Ms. Medina, you got a question?
Yes, so usually there's a link for attendance. Do you anticipate that that will happen as well?
Yes, yeah, it's probably going to be same idea. There'll have to be a link for attendance, and students will have to make sure they log into Teams that day to get their attendance taken that day. Because since it is an asynchronous instruction day and a full remote day, that would be considered an attendance day as well. And go ahead, Ms. Medina, you got the floor.
Sorry, related, but I'm curious what's happening in the building. Is it gonna be like a an election voting site?
So for teachers that day, you want me to
Yeah.
take this again, Mr.
Just
Robinson?
in general, yeah.
I'll take it again. Okay, so for that day, teachers will be coming.
Can we
into the
hold
building.
that question?
Sure,
Hold that
sure.
question. Yep. Ask that again in 5 minutes, Ms. Medina, because I just want to run through the calendars, because
Okay.
I'm getting a nasty gram. So I gotta rush through.
Okay.
So just real quick to go off the calendar, please, Miss, do not forget to ask that question again. To run through the calendar, November 10th will be and Friday, November 12th will both be virtual teacher. I'm sorry, will be parent teachers conference. On Friday, November 12th, that's a half day for the students in person. That's a question.
Sorry, can you say that again?
November 12th, is that going to be a half day?
Yes,
Okay, in person?
yes,
Okay,
yes. Don't know 100% certain yet the schedule breakdown. Usually, this is pre-COVID. It used to be, we used to do periods 1 through 6 that day. And 1 through 6 makes us end, I think, around, like if I remember on my, that's 3 hours, so 7:45, ends at 11. So yeah, so I think if I remember correctly, when we used to do it on Fridays, it used to be periods 1 through 6 only that day. So by 11 o'clock, kids leave, because then we have
so it'll be a shorter.
It'll be a
day than
shorter
usual?
day. Yes, correct.
Okay,
Yes, it's a shorter day.
because I know
than
Fridays is already a short day.
Yes, but
Okay,
because it's a remote only or a virtual parent teacher conference, we have to give the teachers the time to make a decision if they want to do it in person at the school, their virtual conference, or if they want to go home. So
Okay.
that's how that works. So that's that game plan.
Okay, and I'm sorry, Mr. Sandor, just go back one. I did not properly reflect the day that the report cards will be available on
Yes, no,
digitally?
October 29th.
October 29th, which is next
Yep.
Friday.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Right.
thank you very much.
Problem.
Other than those 3 key points, is there anything else on the calendar that we should make a reference to that is imperative for the parents?
Veteran Day.
There is.
Yes,
Yes,
Veterans Day is very important.
yes. The only other one is on October 28th, is just the senior SATs. There are some seniors who will be taking the SATs that day. They were already, these are just certain students were able to get the SATs done on that specific day. So that's on October 28th.
At the
and it'll be-
school or at certain locations?
No, it'll be in school, just it'll be sectioned off, where it will be happening. But yeah, the SATs will be done. It's not like the full-fledged SAT day that we've done before, like that happens in like March, where like everyone does like PSAT or the SAT itself. This is just like a separate, a small group of seniors who do it. It's not like the entire senior class gets it.
And also our PTA meeting, though normally would be held on the 3rd Thursday, 4th, no, this is held on the right day. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yep, no, this is held on the right day. I was getting confused with Thanksgiving. So days off in November will be, of course, Veterans Day and Thanksgiving Day, as well as the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You said October 28th, but on that calendar, it also mentions the 6th. Is that two separate?
Yes, so the
Okay.
sixth is like the SAT where anyone can sign up. And that's at Lincoln's an on-site testing site for SATs. So on the 6th is like anyone can show up. The 28th is for Lincoln seniors who like that sort of kind of setup.
All right. We are now opening the floor for additional questions. I know Ms. Medina would like clarity on how election is held, and I believe there is a further question in the chat. So Ms. Medina, go first.
Yes, so I was just curious to know what's actually happening in the building that day. Is it completely closed, or is it an election, a voting site?
So it's not a voting site, but what it is, it's a professional development for teachers that day. So we'll be in person doing professional development for all staff members. So that's what's happening in the building that day. But of course, at the same time, you know, staff will also have their asynchronous instruction uploaded on Teams that day while we do professional development.
Okay.
I don't know if there was other questions from the chat. Let me see.
This may have been answered, Ms. Attwood, but if you can just ask that one more time.
Which is the one I just got from Nika Marcellus? Sure. What is a half day? Some kids who finish at 11:45 on Friday. Okay, so on Fridays, right, we have considered a half day normally, which is 30-minute periods. So depending upon your child's schedule, if they're 1 to 7, after 7th period, they are finished at, I think it's 11:36. If they're 2 to 8, they finish up at 12:09. And if they go 3 to 9, okay, they finish up at 12:42, something like that. So that's how the schedule works on a Friday. So Fridays, they're done pretty much, depending upon their schedule, between 11:30 and 12:30, depending upon how their schedule falls.
Any other questions? I'll wait a few more minutes, because if not, I can honestly say I made the bell before 8 o'clock. We actually have about 8 minutes left. So if anybody has any questions, concerns, yes.
There's a question about the fundraising besides chocolate magazine sales. On the chocolate website, we'll be able to purchase. Does it count?
Right now, we're only doing the fundraising for the world's finest chocolate. Yes, you can purchase the magazines all from the world's finest chocolate. That will also be added on as a virtual sale for us as well. We have the Vax bonus that we're trying to work. We decided just to do those two for now to test the waters with fundraising, because it's been a while since the school itself has done fundraising. But we do have a fundraising committee that if you would like to participate in, we would greatly appreciate your attendance.
Lisa's on.
Hey.
Hello?
We can hear you. Ms. Meadows?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be on speaker.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You didn't say anything. It's good.
Okay.
Ms. Brown, I believe we've been trying to work with the football team on that.
Say that again.
There's a question in here about the new uniforms. Is that a fundraising idea that have come to mind, or?
The uniform comes from the school for football specifically. They get they're sponsored by Under Armour. I have my expert here just came in. So uniforms of such, look at that, right timing for the question. Ms. Marcellus. Uniforms of such, I washed it, it's not ironed, don't worry about it, it's clean. Come from sponsored by Under Armour. Don't ask, it won't fit us, but that's what they get their that's what they get them
That's your
from.
call.
How many have
Do you
three?
want-
We have 4 in total, but I have 2 in the
They get 4 in football, gets 4 in total. And they have like the football, the football uniform for like when you play home games and stuff like that. So they're really, that's all I know right now from the expert that just came in from football practice. Can I answer Ms. Meadows' question? She's asking if anyone spoke with the photography program about the photos for students other than senior, not as of yet on our part. Who was here? Was it you, Mr. Capizzo, that was here? Was it a good idea for you, or was Mr. Robinson? I don't think we didn't explore it as of yet. But thanks for the reminder. Mr. Capizzo?
Yeah, from my understanding, we only do photography. I think we only do the photography, like the yearbook stuff for just seniors. Usually the stuff with the other grades we haven't really done. So we're not, we unfortunately don't do it. I think unfortunately that hasn't been brought up yet with Mr. Molina. But I don't know if that's a Molina question or if that's more of like a school-wide question, with it being, because it would have to be then opening it up for everyone to get a picture, you know. But that's not a Mr. Molina question, because he just runs the photography program. This would be more of like photography for all kids in high school. So I don't 100% know about that. I know
it might be, Mr. Capizzo, it might be a good fundraising thing, but we should probably talk to Mr. Molina to see if he has the bandwidth and the time to run that sort of thing.
It could be that. I mean, I know that in a weird way. Now, remember when I went to high school, okay, because it's been a while. When I went to high school, I did do photos, but to be featured in the yearbook, they just took all of our photos for the year and just put it in, like the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then the 12th graders had their own individual photos in the yearbook. So I think this is more of like a more of like a higher up question, if it would be like open for more, because Mr. Molina doesn't do senior photos. He just still runs the photography program, because the senior photos are done from an outside corporation. He just gets the photos from them and then builds up the yearbook. So I think this would be more like a question, Mr. Robinson, if you're here, would be a more question like admin can, I guess, like solve, or if it's something that is possible.
Well, originally what I was bringing it up for was for fundraising, a fundraiser idea. For the children that are in that program, it would give them the experience, and they could still social distance and take photos. And maybe you don't have to charge a lot. You could charge $5 or $10. They get the experience, and the PTA gets money, and the school can get part of the money.
That, you know, that's not a bad idea. You know what? Let me actually, I'll see Mr. Molina tomorrow, and I'll talk to him about that and see if that could be like a project,
right?
Or something that could be done. Do it like a fundraiser and stuff, and have could be maybe something like a feature of some kinds in the you know, within the program, and even in the yearbook, and somehow that may not be a bad idea. I'll talk to him about that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Capizzo.
All right, we're gonna move on to the last slide. If there are any questions that were not answered, we will follow up via email. Our next meeting, again, will be November 18th at 6 p.m. We will most likely have elections for 2 positions, and we will have that information out by next week so that everyone has enough time to assess whether or not they would like to be on the executive board. If there's no further questions, we will call it a night, except for Mr. Sandor and Ms. Attwood. I just need the 2 of you to stay on just a few more moments. All right, everyone have a great night. Thank you so much for attending our meetings today, and we look forward to seeing you next month. And please bring a buddy. We'd like to go and see more faces. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
Good night. Thank you so much.